Hey you guys, it's me Laura from Scraps of Encouragement, and today I have 3 really fun animal cards for you. These are meant to be cards that you can make with whatever supplies you have at home. Even if you don't have many card making specific supplies, you can make them with paper and scissors and glue and a black pen. I did use circle dies to cut my circles out for these critters, but you don't have to have that. You can freehand circles, you can cut circles with whatever you have, punches, just tracing circles, anything. I'm going to start with the easiest card and work my way up to the more advanced one. They're really fun to make with or for kids. I will have close-ups of these cards and more information on my blog, so be sure to check that out. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you get more, and be sure to share this too with other people you think who might enjoy this project. Let's dive in. I'm going to start by making the bear card, and to make this you're going to need 1 card base and 4 circles. You'll need a large circle, a medium circle for his snout, and 2 small circles for his ears. I'm going to start by gluing those 2 small circles onto the big circle, and I am sticking the medium circle on for his snout with dimensionals. You can put cardboard or anything behind, even folded paper, to give this a little dimension, but you can also glue it on flat. Then you can use a black pen, a marker, whatever you have to draw on his facial features. Now don't get nervous about this, just have fun and make it your own. You can do big eyes, little eyes, whatever you want. There's no right way to do this. You're just having fun making a little bear. Then I also added a few little details with a white gel pen. Again, you totally don't have to do this. I just really liked what it did to my bear. Then I'm going to take my bear head, glue him onto my card base, and I am using a stamped sentiment for this card that says, you're rawsome. You can write with your own pen, you can use a sticker, you can use a stamp that you have, whatever you want to add a sentiment. You can make it be for any occasion as well. That is all that it takes for this first card. Next we're going to make our tiger, and for him you need a card base, 1 big circle, 2 little circles, black paper strips for his whiskers, and some extra orange paper. I also added some strips of paper for the sentiment, but that's completely optional. For this one, I'm doing a little something to the background. I'm using a stamp that I have to make little stripes go across the background. I'm using the same color ink as my card base. You can add stickers to your background, you can add dots, you can draw stripes, you can do all sorts of things to make your background a little bit more interesting. Now to make the tufts that are on the side of the tiger's face, I'm going to trace my circle so that I know that I have the right kind of shape, and then I'm going to go around the circle that I traced and just make little kind of curvy triangles that kind of point down so that I can use that. I'm going to cut that out and use that to go on the side of my tiger's face. And I am going to use my pen or marker or whatever black thing you might have on hand to add his face. I'm going to make his nose and his mouth and his eyes. And then I am going to just make a bunch of squiggly lines for his stripes. I'm going to start with his ears and then move around his face, and I am just doing a bunch of squiggles back and forth, and it's really fun. I'm trying to make them the same on both sides, or at least similar, and once I'm happy with my stripes, I'm going to glue all the parts together. Now it's important that you make the stripes before you glue it together. That way if there's something that turned out that not the way you liked it, you can just replace that one part instead of having to do your whole tiger over. Now I'm going to add a couple extra details with my white gel pen again. And then I have these really thin strips of black paper that I cut for his whiskers. When I was looking at this, I felt like they were still even a little bit too thick. So I'm going to cut them down to the length that I like. And then I am going to cut them in half so they're extra skinny strips of paper for his whiskers. Then I'm just using my fingers to curl them a little bit to give them a little dimension and a little shape. And I'm going to add 1 dot of glue on either side of his mouth, and I'm going to stick the whiskers, all 3 of the whiskers, down to that 1 spot of glue. Once I have him done, I am going to stamp my sentiment onto a strip of white paper, and then I've got a slightly larger strip of orange paper that I'm putting just behind it as a little border. Again, you don't have to use stamps, you can do whatever you want with this, make it totally your own. And then it's time for me to put it all together on my card. I have this little powder tool that I'm using here. You can use baby powder if you want to. All it does is it takes off the extra glue that I kind of made a mess with on my tiger whiskers, and it makes it so that it's not sticky anymore. And I'm going to open up my card and cut the extra part hanging off the edges from my sentiment strip. And my card is finished. There's my tiger card. Next, I'm going to do my lion card, and this one is a little bit more involved. To start with, I'm going to wrap some leaf ribbon that I have around a square piece of green cardstock. Now this is ribbon that I just had that I've been looking for ways to use, and so I thought this might be a great way to use it up. You do not have to have this. You can come up with all sorts of other creative things to do for this square background to decorate it a little bit. Then I have a big yellow circle and a bunch of strips of yellow and orange cardstock. I didn't use circles for this one because I felt like a lion's ears aren't quite circular, so I'm going to go ahead and freehand my own ears and cut those out, but you could definitely use 2 circles for this as well. Once I have my ears cut out in a shape that I like, I'm going to go ahead and glue them onto my circle. And then I get to draw my lion's face. It's important that you do this now in the process because once we add his mane, it's going to be really hard to draw on his face. Again, have fun with this and make it your own. I'm going to add whiskers to my lion just like I did onto my tiger, and then I'm going to start working on his mane. I'm using short strips of paper, and I'm curling them around a paintbrush handle. You can use a pencil, a pen, anything that you have that seems about the right amount of curl that you like. And I'm wrapping those around and then just gluing the ends behind my lion. And I'm going to do this all the way around. Once I have that done, I'm going to turn my lion face over, and I'm going to cut strips that are about the same length as the ones that I cut before, only I'm going to leave these straight, and I'm going to glue them onto the back of my lion. And what I did later, which you're not going to see here on the video, is I went back behind once I had them all glued down and I reinforced it with some strong tape. You can see one that I did there. I ended up doing that for the whole thing, and I would just tape a bunch of strips together all at once to make sure that they stayed securely on my lion. And there he is with his mane in all his glory. So now we just have to put everything together. So I'm using some dimensional adhesive to adhere him onto the panel I made with my ribbon. You can do this a number of ways using whatever you might have on hand. And then once I have him glued to his little square, I've got to get that square onto my card base. I wanted that popped up as well, so I just cut out some cardboard I had from some packaging, and I got it to the right size and glued that on the back of that square, and then I glued the whole square onto my card base. So I'm stamping this with Versamark ink. It's a wet and sticky ink, and you can't see it very well at first, but I'm going to put some embossing powder on it that will stick to it, and then I have a heat tool that I'm going to use to heat that up, and it gives me kind of a shiny black sentiment. Now I just have to add my little white details again, and that is it for my lion card. Thank you for joining me for these cards today. I hope that you make these and that you had a good time. I encourage you to use whatever you have at home to make these cards, but if you do want to see any of the products that I used, I will list them in the description box below and also on my blog at scrapsoфencouragement.com. And I'll talk to you later.